Welcome back. I'm Chelsea Schwartz.
I'm Sarah Carey.
And this is Streaming Wars, the show that helps you wade through the endless sea of streaming content. And man, did it feel like an endless sea this month. There was so much content. But last month, Disney Plus won. So let's see if they can hold their title again, because they've been winning a few months in a row, but they've got some solid competition this month. Sarah, who do you think is going to win this month?
I think it might be Netflix. Netflix was dropping a lot with the Fear Street and the things that we're going to talk about on this episode. So I'm going to say Netflix is going to give them a run for their money for sure.
I do agree that Netflix is coming up. Disney also had some strong contenders, but also Apple TV Plus just swooped in this month too with some strong content. But what service did you spend the most time on?
I will say Apple TV this month, which I never said. And it's because of the shows we're going to talk about on this episode. So
that's awesome. I love hearing that. Apple TV, as we always say, has got that quality programming over the quantity. Yeah. Words are hard this morning, y'all.
It's over here.
Yeah, totally. So definitely, I love that Apple TV is coming up. They've had a lot of great stuff over the summer in general, but I think I finally became a Whovian. And I've been on a Doctor Who kick. And so I got to give points to HBO Max. I'm going to give HBO Max 3 points to start us off with. Also, I will say Disney Plus was a very close second, like just inching on HBO Max purely because of Loki ending in July. But I'm still going to give the points to HBO Max.
I got to give points. I always forget. You got to remind me, Chelsea. Sometimes I forget to give my points. So Apple TV, I'm going to give you 8 points for keeping me. It's like, multiple shows. I was on multiple shows for this month. So my favorite show on television, which we will talk about.
Absolutely. Well, let's kick it off. You mentioned Fear Street, so let's just go there.
Yeah, Fear Street. So if you are a big R.L. Stine fan like I was growing up, they did a trilogy horror series that is really fantastic. I thought the acting is fun. The soundtracks are fire. The story was really interesting. And I like that we got a new movie a week. Some people we haven't had that yet, to my knowledge, from other networks outside of television.
Put out a trilogy. You usually get episodes or a limited series, but actually doing a movie a week was a very fun concept.
Yeah, I loved that. So I'm going to give 10 points for Netflix because of how much I loved it and how they kept making me come back.
I'm going to take 2 points away from Netflix for starting the Halloween season, I think, way too early. And I'm not a horror fan. So having all of the promotion for Fear Street this early was like, could we have waited a little bit closer to the fall? But the activations, the premieres, the movies, they were a lot of fun. Even the little popcorn buckets that they gave us were adorable. So just for that, I'll give you another 3 points.
Yes, love it.
But for bringing us back to the glorious R.L. Stine days, let's talk about another thing that's been brought back this month. HBO Max, the new Gossip Girl is here, something we've both been looking forward to.
I have been wanting this series for a while. I was curious how they were going to do it. And so I'm going to give them 3 points to HBO Max for bringing back one of my favorite shows. But I'm also going to take away 3 points because it's awful.
That's fair. That is fair. There is something about this show that feels really familiar. Oh, wait, it's the exact same stories from the original Gossip Girl. It's the same it girl with the fashion runway and the parties and whatever. It's the same Chuck, but with a new name, with the same daddy issues and the breakdowns and the everything's the same. Where all these characters are going. The only thing that was different was that they immediately revealed who Gossip Girl was. And I don't know if I like that. So I like Max. I have to say, as much as it's the new Chuck and it's very much Chuck, I really do like him. So I'm going to give 2 points to HBO Max purely for Max. And that's it.
Max is my only favorite character. I could honestly ramble on about this show because I agree with you. It is similar storylines, similar tropes, but not done as well. And if you're going to bring back a show, it has to be done as good, if not better. And it's also mixed in with some weird PBS after school special that I'm not here for.
I do have to say, I'm going to give 1 more point to Gossip Girl, to HBO Max, for having my favorite actor from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as the father in this show.
That's who he is.
Yes. Yes. And I love him so much in Maisel that I keep watching Gossip Girl just to support him, no matter how much I'm not enjoying it.
I will give 1 point for him because he is, besides Max, my favorite character on the show, which I
Yes,
think is
absolutely. Yeah, I'm more into the adult drama and the adult stories than the teen drama, which I find very fascinating. Maybe we're just getting older and that's why it sits with it. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of romance dramas, there is a romantic comedy / drama called The Pursuit of Love on Amazon Prime Video. And this, I'm just 3 points. Here we go. This show has 3 things that I love that has immediately sold me. Number 1, it is a period piece. 2 points for that. Number 2, it's set in England. 2 points for that. And number 3, it's a romantic comedy. What's not to love? I'm a sucker for, you pair all those things together, the accent, the clothing, all of those stuff, and I'm in. But then it's Lily James and Emily Beecham and their best friends going through a transition between the 2 world wars, finding love and friendship, and it's fun. I really enjoy this series, and I feel like no one's talking about it. So there you go.
I didn't even know it existed, and now you've sold me, so I'm gonna watch it.
Wonderful. I love that. And speaking of more romantic comedies, this one's also a musical, and it's a reason why me and Sarah are spending so much time on Apple TV Plus. Schmigadoon is finally here. Oh my goodness. I've been waiting for this show since our preview episode in January when we talked about it, and it's finally here. And I'm gonna start out strong right here. 10 points to Apple TV Plus. There is nothing not to love about the show except for the fact that it's only 6 episodes.
I'm going to double down with you because it is with 10 points to Apple TV, because not only is it fantastic and a musical, we have Broadway actors in it with Alan Cumming. We have Aaron Tveit, who is one of my all-time favorites. And the woman
Aaron.
who plays Alan Cumming's, I know.
Heartthrob.
When he said, the first ride's on me and so is the second, I said, yes, it is. And then also the woman who plays Alan Cumming's wife, whose name has completely left my brain. She was Christmas Eve in Avenue Q on Broadway. So like
we have Kristen Chenoweth,
And Kristen Chenoweth, yes.
And then and then for the Disney fans out there, you're pairing Kristen Chenoweth with Dove Cameron again, a little Descendants love for you. This was a great series. I even love the fact that Martin Short is a little leprechaun in it.
No, so good. So good.
So good. All right. So speaking of music, though, over on Hulu coming in this month with some unexpected content. McCartney 3, 2, 1, like a countdown. It's a conversation between Paul McCartney of the Beatles. I probably didn't need to say that, but I'm sure there's some people out there that don't know that he was a Beatle. And if you don't know that, you're probably like, what is a Beatle? In which case, mind blown right now. Anyway, so Paul McCartney in conversation with legendary producer Rick Rubin. And it's basically the 2 of them just geeking out about music and listening to music and literally falling in love with it again. And you just see their eyes light up at certain things that happen in recordings and old stories. And Rick Rubin, he's heard these stories from Paul hundreds of times, but he knows how to ask the right questions and keep that conversation entertaining and delightful. I was very pleasantly surprised. And I actually hope that Hulu turns this into a whole series with different performers sitting in that chair with Rick Rubin. I think that would be a lot of fun, but I'm going to give it 7 points.
I haven't watched it yet. But you were telling me all about it. So it is on my list for sure.
Awesome. Well, have you seen, speaking of docuseries, Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus?
Yes, I have. I really enjoy this. I'm going to give Disney Plus 5 points for Behind the Attraction. It's not super high because I don't love this as much as I love the Imagineering story. We both got to do the junket, and we learned that the director is also the director of all those toy documentaries.
The toys that made us, and also the movies that made us, which came out the same week as Behind the Attraction on Netflix. So 3 points to Netflix for that.
Yeah, so it's very stylized, and if you don't like the style, it's kind of hard to watch, where I feel it works for some episodes but not all episodes. And that's why I'm like here. But I did like the fun things that I learned about a lot of attractions, and also my favorite Imagineer, with anything he touches will always be gold. So
that's awesome. Yeah, the Imagineering story is definitely that sentimental docuseries, and this one is more fun and, dare I say, sarcastic almost. It's got a fun, witty, spunky, we'll call it, voiceover. I was like, and Brian Volkweiss, this is his classic style. So if you like the toys that made us, the holidays that made us, the movies that made us on Netflix, you're gonna love this style. He's also the guy behind Down to Earth with Zac Efron on Netflix. Which,
really?
Yeah, he's just really great with docuseries. So I
loved that.
10 points just to Brian, not to anyone else, but 10 points to Brian because I love you.
I also give 5 points to Zac Efron just because we brought him up.
Exactly. Why not? Absolutely. But I really enjoyed Behind the Attraction. Like you, I learned a lot of things, and it's hard to teach me things I don't already know about these attractions. I do agree that some of the style works for some of the episodes and not others. Right now, just for our viewing audience, only 5 episodes of the season have dropped. There will be another 5 towards the end of the year. And from the previews that we've seen of those 5, I feel like they came out with the heavy hitters, and I'm not sure where this series goes for the second part. So for the questionable release, I'm giving this 4 points. But I did want to say that they sent us some really cool stuff, though. So they sent us a whole bunch of candles. This is the Jungle Cruise candle, and it smells delightful. We got a poster and a pen of the cover art, which is really fun.
Cute.
And then they also sent this really amazing coffee table book of all of the maps from the different parks.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So thank you, Disney Plus, for this. I'll get, another 2 points to Disney Plus.
For a great swag box.
Absolutely. You had something on Peacock this month.
I did. Oh, guys, I'm obsessed. So Peacock is finally, like, they keep announcing things that are gonna come out, and Peacock is starting to like earn its worth, I feel like. And they just dropped this new series called Dr. Death, which is based off of the podcast of the same name. So it stars Joshua Jackson, otherwise known as Pacey Witter, the ultimate best boyfriend ever from Dawson's Creek, Alec Baldwin, and Christian Slater. So like heavy hitting, amazing actors. And it tells the story of a doctor in Texas, true story, by the way, dramatization of this story of a doctor in Texas who was a spinal surgeon who purposefully maimed his patients. And by maimed, I mean cut nerves, didn't remove discs, sliced vocal cords. How do you even get here? How do you even get here when you're in someone's back? Leaves sponges, tools, like screws that are supposed to be used to keep a spine together in people's bodies. And it's the story of how these doctors for years were trying to get him and like his entire medical license revoked. And it's fascinating. And now I'm listening to the podcast. So Peacock, I'm throwing 10 points out to you for putting 3 of my favorite actors in a series that is absolutely phenomenal, that comes in like pretty close to like Apple TV quality. So I'm real proud of you guys. It's really good. Really, really good.
I have to say, it's definitely not my thing. I'm not going to go home and like watch it. Way too much drama heavy for me, but that sounds incredibly done. And that cast, I'm going to give Peacock another 2 points for the cast. Yeah.
Oh, look. Yeah. Christian Slater, where have you been? Thank you for coming back out of retirement.
Speaking of documentaries and docuseries, this is totally the month for it, apparently. Assembled, The Making of Loki, our final chapter in Loki for now, which was very hard. And I think on Wednesdays, I feel like a hole in my heart right now. But this making of, I have to say, the WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier making ofs were the most boring things I had watched on Disney Plus. I did not feel like they were executed well. But this one they approached with a fun little voiceover from Tom Hiddleston and a delightful little like almost drama at the beginning of like, it started on this day before the pandemic took us down in this many hours and and it was just great. And it was witty. They actually like wrote a story to the making of instead of just having a making of for the sake of it. I was here for it, and I'm going to give it another 7 points to Disney Plus. I very much enjoyed that. Not to mention Tom Hiddleston in a man bun practicing his stunts. Mm-hmm. Sarah needed a moment with that one.
I did. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Moment over.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. Speaking of nerd things, though, there's something else glorious that came to Netflix this month. Masters of the Universe Revelation. I don't know, Sarah, were you a Masters of the Universe fan growing up?
Huge. I love Masters of the Universe. I love the terrible movie. I loved She-Ra. I loved that whole storyline. That whole world was one of my favorites.
Same, absolutely. My mom's Hebrew name is Shira, and when I was really little, I thought she was the princess of power. Like, that's how much I loved Masters of the Universe.
Amazing.
And you're right. the movie, I still love the movie, and everyone forgets that Courtney Cox was in that movie. You know, it was great. So I was excited to see this come back, and I'm going to give 10 points to Netflix because I feel like this was, if you're going to reboot something that's nostalgic from people's childhood, this is the way you do it. It was done well. Also, they finally, there's a lot of backlash online from like super bro He-Man fans that are like, there's too many women in the story now. Thank you for putting some more women into the story and at the forefront of it. This was a perfectly balanced series. Kevin Smith, you did a great job. Mark Bernardin, you did a great job. The voice cast is incredible. Like, you even got Mark Hamill as Skeletor. Like, please and thank you. You know, like Lena Headey as Evil Lynn. Like, this is fantastic. So yeah, I'm standing by my 10 points for Netflix for this series.
I'm going to give 10 points to Netflix for making it amazing, but I'm going to take away 1 point because I hated it was only 5 episodes. And then I'm going to take away 2 points because I think Sarah Michelle Gellar was the wrong choice.
I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like she was in it for the name quality and the fact that she was Buffy more than she needed to be in it.
I just didn't think the voice matched the character, you know, like.
Well, that actually moves me into a great point for our next show. It's another one where the voice, it doesn't necessarily not match the character, but it's so irritating that I don't want anything to do with it. So Monsters at Work, brand new Pixar series on Disney Plus. I started out hating this show. I was extremely, it left me with a lot of anxiety. This one character in particular, a little Miss Val Little, the most irritating character they have ever made in life.
Even more so than Sadness.
Yes. Yeah, I actually like Sadness. But Val Little literally interrupts everyone. Like, she doesn't let you finish a sentence, and it just irritates me. And her voice is very high, and she's way too optimistic. Like, somebody, like, please bring her back down to reality. Like one of those people that's so optimistic that they don't live in the real world, if you know what I mean. And for some people, you need that little ray of sunshine, and maybe this is your character, but this is enough for me to take away 5 points from Disney Plus. Now, I will say that once you get past episode 2, the show gets much better. There isn't a lot of the first couple episodes, all the characters seem to talk on top of each other, and it really bothered me. It literally caused my anxiety to spike. Like, I was in a party and I was like, what is happening right now?
Oh, wow.
But that mellows out. And then Mike's comedy class, the little like shorts that happen at the end of each episode, are my favorite parts. So I'll give 2 points back to Monsters at Work. It's growing, it's getting better. They're finding their groove. It just started out rocky.
I watched a couple episodes with my nephew, and he seemed to really enjoy it. Monsters Inc. is one of the very few Pixar films that I enjoy. So I was hoping the series would be better. So I'm only in the beginning of the series. I'm just going to give it 2 points because my nephew liked it, and that's how old he is.
That's adorable. Well, it's time to move into some of the movies of this month, and we'll just start with Space Jam.
I did not have a chance to watch this movie, so this is all you, Chelsea. Tell me all about it.
I should start this review by saying that I actually worked on the film in 2019, but these views are my own and not because I worked on it. You will see my car with me driving it, and then if you're really got an eagle eye, you'll see me in another shot of the movie. But other than that, this is Warner Brothers laying down the gauntlet to Disney, in my opinion, of you think you're bad because you've got all of these properties. Did you forget what we own? And literally, here's everything in the Spirit-verse, and just like, you've got this incredible, I remember when we were filming it, this incredible crowd of like, they were hiring just background to be a character from across the entire WB spectrum. And it was incredible to sit there and film it because you've got Voldemort and Quidditch players with Wizard of Oz and Flintstones and The Mask and all this craziness going on. Pennywise is there, you know, just it's insane.
The dudes from A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. I mean, literally everything. It's all like, you've got to watch this show a few times just to study the background in the basketball game because it's beautiful. And then obviously there's the more obvious properties like Game of Thrones and stuff like that come into play. But it's fun. It's delightful. It's a standalone, and you do not have to see the first Space Jam to appreciate it. It's loony. I wish there had been more Wile E. Coyote moments. And I will only
well.
take away 2 points from this movie for not having enough Wile E. Coyote. But other than that, I'm going to give it 6 points. It was a good family-friendly movie. And if this means that Warner Brothers is getting closer to really showing that they can make universes the way that like Disney's doing, I'm here for it. I'd also would love to see like a Warnerland, like Disneyland. Like, can we get a theme park with all your properties? That would be fun.
I am going, because there's a lot of controversy surrounding this movie. Like, they removed Pepe Le Pew because Pepe Le Pew is very uncomfortable as a character. Felt that way since I was a kid. But as I said, they had the guys from A Clockwork Orange in it who are actually very problematic. So I'm taking away 5 points for having every single one of them front and center, so much so you can see them in the trailer.
I mean, you barely see them in the movie. I think it's more of a highlight in the trailer, but yeah. It's definitely interesting choices. I mean, also it's a family friendly movie, and then you've put Pennywise in it, and I immediately am like, clowns, no, why the clowns? All right, so Space Jam, which is available on HBO Max and in theaters, much like this next topic, Jungle Cruise, which is now available on both Disney Plus for an extra $30, unlike Space Jam, which is just free on HBO Max, or it's in theaters. What did we think of the Jungle Cruise?
I actually really enjoyed it. I think that The Rock is one of the most charming human beings on the planet. Emily Blunt is incredibly charming. And then you put them together and they're just like a charming masterpiece. I loved that we got our own Jungle Cruise in the beginning by Dwayne Johnson. That was lovely. However, I do think it's a little slow, and I don't think it's original at all.
Oh, no,
I thought that
not.
The villains, like the conquistadors, were just like Davy Jones's minions from the Pirates movie. So I was like, we couldn't think of anything else.
Not
so
to
I'm
mention,
gonna
like the same special effects from the Pirates movie for them too. Like when they all go into the moonlight and become skeletons, I basically just immediately got taken into Pirates. And then, but other than that, it was like Indiana Jones meets Romancing the Stone, and just like, you couldn't have come up with anything in the love story. Why did we need to have a love story? That it was so forced and uncomfortable. I was like, that really like Emily Blunt couldn't have just been a strong, smart woman that was leading this trail and we left it alone there. Like, that was just, I feel like after the Under the Sea moment where they kissed for air, everything after that was just awkward. Also, the Jungle Cruise in the opening, I know you loved it. I did not like the Jungle Cruise, and that felt too long. I know why they included it. I know fans of the attraction are going to love that part and stuff, but I don't know. My biggest problem, though, and apparently this has now been fixed in some theaters, not all of them, is that there was no subtitles. And they're speaking a very special dialect of Spanish, which even my friends that speak Spanish fluently have a hard time picking up. I was like, so why was there no subtitles? And I watched with the friend that speaks Spanish that was translating for me, which we didn't know we were going to have to do going into the movie. And it was like key information that you actually need. Yeah. And I was like, and I'm all for speaking foreign languages in these movies because I actually learn that way. I pick up foreign languages when I hear them that way. But like, you still got to translate it. Like, we're not all fluent in all languages all the time. So I'm taking away 10 points from Disney Plus because I really did not like Jungle Cruise.
Oh man, I was only going to take away 5 because you can put Emily and Dwayne in a movie and they can be charming as all get out. But when you don't give me anything original, I was going to take away 5. Oh, I do want to mention that they did have an LGBTQ storyline that I actually thought was very lovely and done respectfully.
Yes.
And so I really like that.
I'll give 2 points back to Disney Plus for that, because this, I think, was their official first step in a theatrical film to directly acknowledge an LGBTQ character. Like, there's always been hints going all the way back to LeFou and Beauty and the Beast a few years ago. But like, this was the first bigger step. It still wasn't a huge step, but it was a bigger step.
It was like Artie from Cruella was like the first baby step. And then they just jumped over the line, and I appreciated that.
Totally. Absolutely. Well, we've got a couple of shows that have jumped into their sophomore seasons. I know you've seen Never Have I Ever and are really excited to talk about it. So let's hear about it.
I love Never Have I Ever. If you haven't watched it, it's a show about a girl named Davy who lost her father tragically and is kind of dealing with the aftermath of that, and whether it's through her depression, her anxiety, or just acting out as a teenager. So just imagine being like 16 with everything going on with that, and then adding that extra layer. The character development is fantastic. They do have queer representation. They pit you into like, which boy should she choose? Very teen-esque, you know. The show is hilarious, and I think, and it's done by Mindy Kaling. So if you like Mindy Kaling, I think you will love it. First season was phenomenal. And then second season is just as better. It did not hit a sophomore slump at all, which I was surprised, because I honestly thought with the way season 1 left off, that it was very easy to do, and they didn't. So I'm giving 7 points to Netflix for season 2 of Never Have I Ever.
Well, speaking of sophomore slumps that actually did not disappoint, can we talk about Ted Lasso season 2? Because this has to be better than the first season.
It's so good.
Goodness. It's so goodness. Also, so I went to the premiere for season 2, and they gave us this amazing AFC Richmond blanket, and it's really like nice fleece and so. Oh my God, Apple TV. But this show, oh my God, it is so good. There is nothing not to love about Ted Lasso.
No, it's honestly my favorite show on TV. I feel no one is watching, but apparently enough people are watching because it's getting another season. They renewed it for two more seasons after season 1. And I will say too, when I try to describe it to people on paper, it sounds awful.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, that's cheesy. And I don't watch soccer, and I'm like, it's football. They're like, still, it's not my thing. I'm like, you don't have to know anything about football to love this show.
Yeah, the show's not about football. The show is about the characters in it, and it's just done so well. Jason Sudeikis, if he does not win something, I'm gonna be upset. So I'm giving Apple TV, for having my favorite show on the entire thing, 20 points. Apple TV. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy.
It's my decided to break the meter and just go straight.
I know. It was my favorite show last year, and it's my favorite show this year. And if you watch our show, you know how much television we watch.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I think that says a lot.
I also would just like to acknowledge that they discuss heavier topics, and it's such a lighthearted, around the bush way that like you don't even realize that you're getting smacked in the face with very important topics. And I love it. Like, yeah. It's so great. So we don't even need to add any other points. Sarah's given it enough. It's fantastic.
I got crazy. I'm sorry. It's amazing.
It is. Just watch it. And you know what? The common excuse I've been getting lately from people when it comes to Schmigadoon and Ted Lasso and whatnot is I don't have Apple TV and I don't want another subscription service. Apple TV is $4.99 a month. That's $5, y'all. It's 1 penny away from $5. You can afford the $5 for this level of quality. Like, yeah. You will not be disappointed that you have yet another streaming service. You can get rid of a lot of the other ones. I won't name them, but like, keep Apple TV. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's go off. We rarely get a chance to do this. We've got a giant tangent vent to go off on this month. What the heck is with all of the dating reality shows that seem to come out every day? There's too many of them. Why? So well, every single streaming service has their own, not one, but series of these. So I'm taking away 2 points from every streaming service. This is unnecessary.
She angry. She angry. I feel like the reason they've done this, and I agree with you, I don't love dating shows. I don't watch The Bachelor. I watched Love is Blind because we're all in quarantine last year and we had nothing else to watch. And I feel like it was probably the easiest thing for people to film because you can quarantine bubble everybody and throw it together. But they're getting wildly creative. Like, what is this Beast one? What was it called?
Sexy Beast on Netflix just dropped.
Sexy Beast.
It is the ultimate blind date where they dress everyone in prosthetic makeup to look like some sort of monkey or devil or what. Why? I did not sign up for this. -5 points from Netflix.
Oh man, I I think that's hilarious. It intrigued me enough to want to watch it, which, as I said, I don't watch these shows. So just one point back to Netflix for intriguing me. But these dating shows get out of hand. You have 90 Day Fiance. Love is Blind is coming back for a second season.
12 Dates of Christmas on HBO Max. F-Boy Island on HBO Max, because that needed to be a show. And then if we don't, they love an island theme. They love putting people out on an island. Love Island on Paramount Plus. There's another one for you.
I know. And then what's the one where they can't touch each other and they lose money? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't pay that much attention to know what enough of them are about. Like there's just too many of them. There's too many.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Another idea, Hollywood. Just another idea, please. Moving on. There's also, when we say the endless sea of streaming content, there are things that escape both of us. And this month, a film dropped on Amazon Prime Video that I really just did not notice even happened, called Jolt. And it's a Kate Beckinsale film, and it actually looks incredible, and it's a really well done cast. And like the plot, when I looked at it, I went, this is actually something I would watch, and it just completely escaped us. So I have no opinion because I haven't seen it yet, but I thought we should shout it out in case other people might be interested in finding a film. If you've got Amazon Prime Video, go ahead and check it out. 2 points, Amazon.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 points just for Kate Beckinsale. I love her.
Yeah, totally. All right, that's pretty much everything for this month. We're going to do a little preview to look ahead, and then we will find out this month's winner. So here we go. Without further ado, the long-winded calendar of August.
I'm ready.
All right. Starting off, we've got Marvel's What If coming to Disney Plus on August 11th. Super excited for this show. Kissing Booth 3 on Netflix drops the same day as What If on August 11th. This is a movie. This is the third in the movie. I loved both of them. The first two, I'm sure Sarah did as well. We tend to love these like teen dramas. Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2 on Paramount Plus, August 12th. The second season of Modern Love on Amazon Prime Video on August 13th. Looking ahead to the following week on August 18th, we have both 9 Perfect Strangers coming to Hulu, which I've seen and I highly recommend, and Diary of a Future President, which will be the second season for Disney Plus. I'm with Sarah. I really love the show as well. Both of those August 18th. August 23rd, we've got The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf anime. This is an anime. This is not like a G-rated anime. Like this is like a hardcore, straightforward, gory, and there's nudity. It's wonderful. Watch this anime August 23rd. Second season of C on Apple TV Plus, which is a great fantasy series, is coming on August 27th. He's All of That coming to Netflix on August 27th as well. And then we round off the month with Only Murders in the Building on Hulu on August 31st. This is the Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez series, which I cannot wait for.
I'm so stoked for it. I love that Steve Martin and Martin Short are making like their comeback. Me too. They're so great.
I've loved them ever since Three Amigos when I was a little kid. Anything, like I always want to see anything Martin Short and Steve Martin does. Absolutely. So I'm excited. But now it's that time to find out who won this month. Who is it? And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I think this might be the first time ever Apple TV Plus has taken the lead. They have won this month's streaming wars. Finally, the quality is coming through. And here we go. So congratulations, Apple TV Plus.
Congrats. You're welcome. Say thank you to Ted Lasso.
Right? Absolutely. And Schmigadoon. Don't forget Schmigadoon.
Sure.
All right. So thank you guys so much for watching this month's Streaming Wars. We'll be back next month to talk about everything that we just highlighted, and I'm sure a lot more. There's a lot of content always coming all the time. If you want to stay in touch, make sure you're following that hashtag show on all social media platforms, and we'll see you in a month.